Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to another Live Purposefully Now live broadcast for another Mindfulness Monday. And today I'm continuing with our series of spiritual truths. And this day we are actually on the fourth spiritual truth. And the fourth spiritual truth is perception. These spiritual truths of ours, they totally shape and they form our lives as we know them today. And they're also tools. They're tools, my lovelies, that when you use for you instead of against you, can change your entire future. They're just wonderful things. And I just want to ask you, if you enjoy this video, if it spoke to you in any way at all, please do share it. And together we can give these tools to others so that they too can change their future. But first, just let me introduce myself to those who don't yet know me. I'm Elle Summer. I am the founder of Live Purposefully Now, a website that I created with the intention to inspire and motivate and encourage like-minded people to learn about and use some of these spiritual life truths that have certainly changed my life. And if they've changed my life, they can change any life, because there's nothing special or unique about me. Basically, it doesn't really matter, dear hearts, who you've been or where you are right now. You have at your disposal everything that you need to change almost anything you want. And I say almost anything because it has to be things that are in alignment with nature. And nature won't allow us, if we're 5'2", won't allow us to use these spiritual truths to turn into somebody who's 6 feet tall. At least not as far as I'm aware. In my current awareness, at my level, I don't know that, and I've never seen that. And before I begin, I also want to acknowledge the wonderful, the like-minded souls who are here right now. I know that it takes a while for Facebook to catch up when we're doing these lives, but I just want to say hello. First of all, hello to Jenny White. Jenny is the amazing soul who keeps my Facebook page running at all, never mind running as smoothly as it does. And without Jenny, I probably wouldn't even be on Facebook. Jenny has a page of her own called Strong Heart Awakening, which if you haven't seen yet, I heartily recommend that you check out. And who else do we have here? Let's see if I can actually, yes, I can actually see some people. Hey, Cheryl Fletcher Greening is here. How lovely to see you. Kimberly, welcome to you. And, and Cheryl has already shared to her Facebook page. Bless your heart. Thank you so much. Jennifer Crowley-Williams is here. Hello to you. And I think that's it for now. So I'm just going to get on with it. As I say, this spiritual truth is about perception. And this truth helps you grow bigger than your problems. It really does. And let's face it, one thing that we all seem to have in common is that we all think that we see the events and situations in our life as they really are, and that we're pretty objective in determining reality. This is so not true. We see our world and ourselves in it, not as it really is, but as we really are, as we are conditioned to see it. We see it through the lens of who and what we are. And, my lovelies, to know this is to know something great. For no one gets to view the world without a lens, which is basically just a perspective. Our perception, which is colored by our beliefs and our expectations and our past experiences. And our conscious mind processes every experience that we have through this filter, through this lens. And often that experience gets misinterpreted in the process. And it's normal that we do this. Our lens stems from our own experiences and environment, but it's not always helpful or accurate. Think about it this way. Something happens in our life and we judge it through our filters, through the lens with which we see the world. Some of us have rose-colored lenses and some of us don't. So we see it through those perspectives. And my filter is different from yours. So you might see an incident differently than I would. We look at something and we give it meaning, or we make an assessment and it becomes either a good thing or a problem. And the thing is that there is no problem until we interpret it as so, until we give something meaning and make that judgment. And we know this is true because what feels like a problem for me might not feel like a problem for you. What feels like a problem for one of us isn't necessarily a problem for another. Because we are the ones who give it that meaning. Is it good or bad? Well, it depends on who you ask. Is it right or wrong? Again, it depends on who you ask. And all of these things are not outside of us. They're all inside of us. And this is one of the hardest things to grasp. This, my lovelies, is called enlightenment. When you can understand that what's going on outside of you are your beliefs and your perceptions being produced as experiences, then you realize that nothing is simply the way it might appear to be. Indeed, everything is our consciousness being revealed, as we spoke of already in one of our truths. And discovering and seeing what's really going on in our life is actually a bit trickier than you might think. In fact, it's almost impossible. But we never get to view the world without a lens, i.e. we never get to look at the world without our perspective. But the best thing that we can do is to exchange those lenses. We can have different lenses, which means we have different viewpoints and beliefs. And then we can decide which one is more accurate. We can try them out. Pretty much like when I go and have my eyes checked. What they're looking for is to discover which lens will help me see the outer world more clearly. And this is our inner world that we're talking about, which is really vital to get right as much as we can if we want to experience that greater and more lovely life. You know, talking about having our eyes checked, when we can't see physical things all that clearly, we don't say, oh, wow, life is out of focus. We head out to have our eyes checked. We don't work on trying to change those physical things so that we can see them more clearly, because we know it won't work. You do what I need to do, and try some different lenses, some of which make your vision seem better and some of which make it seem worse. And eventually you settle on one that feels right. And that's what we want to do with our life. The problems and obstacles we encounter in life are caused by our lenses, are caused by what is within, what filters we look at everything that happens with. Our lens is both distorting and creating the way we see reality. And as you change your lens, your reality will change. And here's how. So the events of our life, whatever they are always being interpreted by our conscious mind's lens. Our mind checks out the information and it weighs it, and it either dismisses it or it makes sure that we know about it. And information or events that run counter to our beliefs generally get ignored, or they get distorted in such a way to fit in with what our conscious mind tells us is reality. So taking this even a step further, you'll begin to see how powerful your perceptions are. We know for sure that physical reality is made up of vibrations of energy. This chair that I'm sitting in, the walls that surround me and are surrounding you, your physical body, everything is made up of vibrations of energy. And this is a fact known and understood and told to us now by physicists. And our thoughts and our beliefs, which create our perceptions, which create that lens through which we view the world, are also vibrations of energy. And they consist of the exact same substance. Everything is the same substance, which ties in with our first three spiritual truths. Remember them? The first one was you, through your consciousness, are the creator of your reality. And the second one is that your life is a revealer. In other words, it's revealing what's in your consciousness. And the third one is that there is power in your conscious awareness. The more aware you become, the more powerful you become. Our thoughts that we repeat again and again, especially if done with feeling and emotion, gradually what they do is they make an imprint on our subconscious. And once this happens, a remarkable transformation takes place. These imprints vibrating within us attract from our outer reality people, circumstances, and events that correspond with that which is within. And eventually they crystallize into experiences, into facts, perceived facts in our reality. See how cool this is, dear ones? And how the power is in your hands to change your life? Because these crystallized beliefs channel your energy and then act as a magnet. It's pretty cool. And that's one of the reasons why I like to remind myself, particularly when I experience something I don't really appreciate, that something in me corresponds with this experience. I don't always want to hear it, but I know that it's so. And also that allows me a chance to redirect my thoughts towards a happier result than the one that I just had. And we can all do that. It's easy. So we're operating from the premise that our ideas, our thoughts and beliefs exist as sort of phantoms hidden away from sight, that they have no substance. This is so not true, my lovelies. They're like little electromagnetic realities operating within, attracting and creating the experiences of our life. And the more aware you become of this, and the more you begin to see how your experiences are influenced by your inner programs, the more you can be creative with your beliefs, and the more you can consciously change and experiment with the lens or the perspective through which you view the world. We need these beliefs. We can't really live without them. They're kind of the parameter for us to be able to interpret what's going on in life. What we don't need are beliefs that just don't serve us well. We don't need beliefs that create perceptions of who you are that are less than. We don't need beliefs that hold you back from the life you'd love to be living. And we don't need beliefs that limit you in any way. We just don't need them. And it's all perception. It's all perspective. How we see ourselves, our lives, our world, our relationship to everything that surrounds us determines how we make decisions, determines how we make choices. And these perceptions that we have of reality don't necessarily match the truth of what's happening. For instance, it's statistically so that we're less likely to be injured when we're traveling by a plane than we are when traveling by a car. Almost 100 to 1. Actually, I never knew that until I looked it up. Think about it. How many people do you know who've been involved in a plane crash? Not how many you've read about or heard about in newspapers, but how many personally do you know? And how many people do you personally know who've been involved in some kind of collision or car crash? And yet, the funny thing is, there are more people who are apprehensive about flying than they are about traveling in a car. The perceptions that they have don't actually match the reality. And this happens in our lives far more than we're aware of, over all sorts of things, big and small. I have a little story to tell you about perception and how it can work. One of my siblings had an entirely different perspective on life than I did. They viewed the world through virtually the opposite lens. I was always the smiling one, the happy one, the one that bounced back, because I believed the world was filled with good things waiting to be discovered. But as a young kid, before I'd even heard of these spiritual truths, I was using them on purpose. I believed something wonderful was always about to happen. I could have been the original Pollyanna, and I did get called that more than once, but I didn't care. I still get called that, and I still don't care. And if ever I thought that there might be monsters under the bed, I'd imagine myself somewhere safe that was lovely and beautiful, and I'd fall asleep in that. These beliefs became internalized and grew into the lens through which I viewed the world, mostly. they became my perspective. And I want to say right now that I'm still not perfect at this. I still have some things that are in my perspective, that my perception of the world isn't necessarily what I would wish it to be. And I've had my moments in life when it took a bit longer to bounce back, like after the death of my husband. But these beliefs that I held were my most regular inner vibrations, which became my consciousness, which became the lens through which I looked at the world. And they attracted people and experiences, most of which have been pretty good. And this perspective affected my daily thinking and feelings, and influenced the actions and decisions that I made. My sibling, on the other hand, believed the world was stacked against them. The world was a fearful place and it was filled with disappointment. And no matter what they did, they were pretty sure nothing would turn out well for them. And like me, those beliefs also became internalized, and they became the lens through which they saw the world. They became their inner vibration. And I don't have to tell you the rest. Can you imagine what possibilities existed for us as kids and what the future likely held? I am happy to tell you that there is a happy ending to this story, that my sibling, learning about these spiritual truths, has used them to turn their life around. And they now exude more happiness and gratitude than ever they could even muster with the original perspective that they'd had on life. And we're all doing this. We're all forming the fabric of our life from these inner vibrations of beliefs, the perception that we have of ourselves, taken from the beliefs that we hold. And we think these beliefs are truth. So we don't think about them. We don't even question them. Who hasn't been there? Our mind shares them with us as statements of fact that clearly don't need a second thought. So we just accept them without question. We don't even think about them as beliefs of reality, but of actual reality itself. And before we know it, they become invisible assumptions that now create our personal experiences, and we're totally unaware of them. And the funny thing is that both my sibling and myself were correct about life. You might think that the more positive one was closer to reality, but actually life doesn't work that way. Both realities were valid. Both realities were real to us. And the thing is that we both attracted to us what was vibrating within. We were reaping what we sowed. And neither perception was right or wrong. It just was. It just is. There are so many different realities, dear hearts, that we could all experience, none of which are right or wrong, just that some will feel better and bring greater rewards. And I don't know about you, but personally, I want to keep adjusting the lens through which I see the world. I intend to be constantly expanding my conscious awareness because I want to continually move up the ladders of reality to experience greater and more wonderful portions of creation that I believe await. And it's simply a matter of adjusting the lens I use according to my beliefs. So the beauty of it is that I get to decide what beliefs I want to hold. So why not join me on this journey? You never know which lens of perception could provide your life's next turning point. We can change our world together simply by changing our perspective of it. And I know that this is a complicated and maybe convoluted concept to grasp, but I do hope that I have at least given you some food for thought. I've given you something that you can take away and say, I can do this. I can, if Elle did it, I can do it, because she's always telling me that there's nothing unique about her. She is no different than me. So if she can use these spiritual principles and change her life, then I can do the same. And you can, my lovelies. And so basically that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast enough to share it with more like-minded people. And I will be back, hopefully with a little reminder in the week to help keep us on track with that brilliant future that can be ours, with a shift in our perception. I will be definitely here next Monday, same time, same place, with another live broadcast. And till then, may your week be filled with blessings. And I am now going to say hello to all the dear hearts who have joined us since I first started. Let's see what I can see. Teresa Nash McNeil, hey to you. Lorene Williamson, hello. Manisha Sharma, welcome, hello. R.M. Alexander, lovely to see you again. Cheryl Smith McRae. Victoria Salvatiere, hello to you. Preeti, hey you. Pretty. Oh, maybe it's pretty. I like that. These names, I love these names. I'm so sorry that I have trouble pronouncing them. Forgive me if I get them wrong. But we now have oh, I can't say that. I apologize. My tongue is all twisted up. Christanti, I can say that one. Jagnathan, hello to you. And, this one I can't even pronounce at all. Kubilai, Kosi. Kiz Doreen, Jackie Sage, hey Jacqueline, nice to meet you. Cheryl Smith McRae, Kimberly, Jenny. Jenny says this is true. Deborah Evans Keener, hello to you. Zan, hello to you. Cheryl enjoyed the live. Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl believes that too. I'm so glad. Mindfulness and awareness and attitude do make such a difference. That is so true. It's incredible what we can do just with being a little aware of what's going on and sort of connecting the dots. It's a fun game, you know. I mean, I like it. I like this kind of life is an adventure to me. It's a game that I play, and hopefully I'm always expanding the level of my play so that I can experience greater and more wonderful things that I honestly do believe are there for us all. Let's see. Cheryl Fletcher Greening needed to hear this today. Beautiful aha moments. I'm so happy. That's all I want. All I want is to be able to express something that I experience personally, so I know that there's a truth, that I don't see why it can't be a truth for other people too, because this really works. Marina, hello to you. Adjust the lens through which you see the world. Yes, R.M. Alexander. Jenny, yes, I can do it. Yay. Kimberly, I believe my lens as a child saved my sanity. That's amazing. And it's just so wonderful to hear the feedback that I get, knowing that there are others out there, like-minded people who have experienced what I have experienced. We're all part of the same soul tribe. I love this. Sishan Tun from Cambodia. Oh, welcome, my dear. Cheryl, thank you, Elle. She enjoyed it. Jennifer Hutchinson Lacrosse, hello to you. Mel Kendall, at last a new start. Yay, go for it. Cheryl Fletcher Greening suggests that we see the world through the eyes of a child. Beautiful light and love. Oh, that is so true. I mean, they are such joy bringers. It's amazing. If we operate the way that children operate in the world, we would never get stuck in negative feelings. We would have beliefs that really, truly supported us. Let's see, who else we have? Bazina. Hey, Bazina. Please don't... if you add CC, I can read the sentences. That's Linda Shoemaker. I don't know how to do that. Maybe Jenny does. Cheryl Fletcher. Mel Kendall. Hello. And I think that's it. So I am going to love you and leave you. May you have a truly wonderful week, and look out for those wonderful, awesome things that await you. And then you can just say yes to them. Bye, my lovelies.